welcome to Battle Bay Baptist Episode 9. Today we're going to be thinking about hospitality evangelism. But before we get to that, Jeff, I want to think back at last week's episode. Last week's episode was about news headlines. And we were thinking intentionally on how to share the everyday news headline and make that actually a gospel conversation or opportunity to talk about Jesus. What's the challenge for people, do you reckon?
Yeah, hopefully that went well. How did you go?
So we're thinking that news headline, weren't we, and how to share about Jesus. Not something we do just in 1 week, but we need to keep on doing week after week. Today's episode is something that maybe some people might feel a little bit uncomfortable with, but it's something that we've been thinking a little bit about. Started off with some podcasts that we as a church listened to last year from Sam Chan, and that is about evangelism and the place for having people in our own homes and the importance of hospitality evangelism. So I know some people are freaked out by this particular thought, but it's something that's really worthwhile because we get beyond the big picture weather conversations when we're in our own homes and our own space, and we actually talk about deeper, more meaningful issues. And so you've got a number of points for us to think about in this place of hospitality evangelism, don't you, Jeff?
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to this. So, yeah, what's your first point today?
Well, there it is there on the screen. Genuine care. And so showing sincere interest in people, in their well-being, and that builds great, firm foundations to go deeper later on.
Yeah, good one. The second one is about a warm welcome.
So create friendliness at your place, have a nice atmosphere when people come in so they feel comfortable, so they feel valued as they come and join with you.
Yeah, the third one, we've heard this one before, active listening, the importance of active listening.
Yeah, so paying close attention to people's stories, be more concerned about them, what their questions are, how they're going, showing genuine interest and engaging with where they're at. Yeah.
The next point for us to think about is a shared meal. Yeah, what's this, Jeff?
Yeah, this is key because it just breaks down barriers and it gets a lot more personal quickly, especially if it's at your home. You engage in a meal at your place or an activity like that. And so invite people and deeper conversations happen over meals. But if you're not prepared and you can't do meals and things like that, well, why don't you maybe pay for them to go to a restaurant with you and you have a meal with them there and have conversations? Or if you're thinking, oh, that's maybe a little bit too hard, maybe it's a morning or afternoon tea at your place, or if that's hard, at some other little cafe somewhere, or maybe a coffee with them at your place or out there. So I'm like a boxer trying to hit at every different angles. You might be ducking and weaving, but there should be one thing there that you can use to invite a friend to. Yeah,
definitely. The next point you've got for us is respectful conversation when we're having guests at our homes.
Yeah, so engage in open and respectful conversations about your faith and spirituality, about life and how they're going, without pressuring them, without overwhelming them. Just watch their body language and how they're going. And if they're comfortable, keep going. If they're not, just back away. Respect where they're at, yes.
Yeah, the next point you've got for us is authenticity.
Yeah, so be genuine yourself. Be willing to open up and be transparent, because that actually helps them to be open up as well. They go, wow, they opened up about a struggle. Maybe I can. It's okay to be real with people. And that's how you get authentic exchanges of relationships and topics, yes.
The next point you've got is patience.
Yeah, be patient. Like things don't happen straight away, like yesterday. Relationships take a while to build up and trust to build up, but also be patient with investing for the long term. So when you think about inviting people, it's not going to be a one-off. You just say, I'm going to be praying for these people. I'm going to be inviting them to things. I'm going to be going to their events as well. So it's a long-term thing, and we're building relationships. We're praying, and then we're inviting them to things.
Yeah, so we don't give up after one go. The next one we've got for is a prayerful approach. We've been reminded of this. Yeah, what's important about this one for us?
Yeah, pray for guidance and wisdom as you have those interactions and things like that, trusting that your efforts, God's going to work at them, so you can be supported by God working through you, spirit-wise, and he'll be working spiritually-wise through them as well. And so God's agenda, that's what you want to pray for, your conversations and for them to be impacted with the gospel.
Yeah, great one. And the next point is follow-up.
Yeah, so don't just say, I had the event, tick it off, been there, done that. No, we want to follow people up. Keep those connections happening with your guests. Continue to offer support, because through their life they might have some hard times and that. Be there for them. Keep on building the friendships up and the opportunities for spiritual conversations here, there and everywhere. As you just keep on building those relationships up, they'll trust you more and more, and they'll open up more and more, and they'll actually want to hear your opinion more and more, and that's when you share that more and more.
Yeah, so it's about really maintaining that relationship, isn't it? And really investing in it for the next. Yep, so the next one you got for us, Jeff, invitational.
Yeah, because sometimes we can just leave it a little bit more like, okay, a friendship basis and things like that, and then you don't cross the bridge to invite them to different events for them to go a little bit deeper, because we're thinking, I don't want to wreck this relationship, but we want to go a little bit deeper with them and invite them to different things that will help them in their spiritual journey. So you might have an event on, or something at your Bible study, your Connect group might be having a group thing. Have some of these intentional events happening so you can invite your friends to and family members.
Yeah, and that missionary family that we had from Vietnam a few weeks ago, they actually shared, that's how she came to faith, wasn't it? It was that connection that she had Friday night with all these different, turned out to be Christian people, not that she knew that at the time, and that was what really led her to Jesus. So there's a really important place, isn't there, for opening our homes and opening ourselves up so that we can actually intentionally share Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah. It's probably not something that we're comfortable with, but maybe something with God's help we can actually do more of. Yeah. So we need to think about how we're going to put this into practice. Jeff, what's the reflection that we can take on board this time?
Yeah. In your conversations, practice being loving. Really saying, God, please help me love this person in front of me. And then you are generally wanting to care for them, and they'll see that. You'll be genuinely interested in what they have to say more than what you're going to say. Yeah,
good one. So there's an opportunity for us to do this, not just to say, yep, Jeff, this is your space, or Mike, this is your space, because you guys are married to people who love doing that kind of thing, but this is something for us all to do. So what are we going to reflect on and take on board in a practical way this week?
Yeah, so who could you invite? Who could you invite to a meal or to a cafe or to whatever we were saying there for a meal to go a bit deeper? Who could it be? Now, share that with the person next to you and pray about that you'll be bold and invite them this week or to something like that. That would be great.
Because a really good thing for us to do is actually to take that on board if we're in Connect groups, and actually talk about that in the Connect group, because we can actually be saying one week, this is who I'm praying for, and the next week the people might say to us, how did that meal go, if you particularly had a meal? And so we're kind of journeying together as a whole church family, thinking intentionally, how are we going to share Jesus in these different opportunities? So there's a great opportunity for us to keep on doing that and sharing deeply as a Connect group of how we can share Jesus. Thanks, Jeff. Why don't we keep on putting these things into practice?